I want to say that I always feel the support, and no matter, often sometimes nerves come, but when I get here and feel the energy coming toward me, it means so much. And so my wish for today is that Dogen's teachings and my very humble expression of them nourishes and supports your practice. I'm grateful to each of you, actually, because my connections to you, whether they're new or well-established, really contribute to the richness of my practice and to my life. And to my teacher, Gayle Roshi, oceans of love and gratitude for everything that you give me, your patience, your care. Thank you so much. So first, as Tim mentioned, after the service today, we're going to have a celebration for Buddha's birthday. And there's a pagoda, which is beautiful, beautifully decorated with flowers and a statue of the baby Buddha inside. And we'll be chanting as we circle the pagoda and taking turns making this water offering. So I'm talking a lot about water today, so you might think about that. It's beautiful and it's fun and it's open to everyone. So we're celebrating the birth of this historical Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, who was enlightened under the Bodhi tree, and he gave us all these teachings and was a model for compassion and kindness. And he also gave us a path to liberate ourselves and all beings from suffering so that we could all live in peace. And we celebrate also today, I want to remind you, the Buddha within each of us, the possibility of awakening to the way things really are. So I invite everyone to join us today. So as you might already know, all the Dharma talks this year are discussions of different fascicles from the Shobo Genzo. The Shobo Genzo is a collection of writings by Dogen Zenji, the founder of our school, Soto Zen. So this week, I am fortunate to be able to discuss with you the Ocean Seal Samadhi. It's said that the flower ornament scripture, one that a lot of us know about, the Avatam Sakka Sutra, came to the Buddha during this particular Samadhi. So what is Ocean Seal Samadhi? So imagine an infinite ocean, boundless, ever-present, reflecting the sky and yet holding immeasurable depths beneath its surface. To Dogen, this ocean became a metaphor for the fundamental reality of our existence, our lives, our consciousness, our interconnection, and the interconnection of all beings. So in the imagery of the ocean seal, Dogen speaks not only of the ocean, but its reflective surface. The mind reflects reality as clearly as the ocean reflects the sky. Like a polished mirror, the ocean reflects reality as it is, without distortion, without judgment. It reminds us of the clarity and equanimity that arise when we rest in this vastness of being. The mirror-like quality invites us to consider the state of samadhi, a state of profound meditative absorption where distinctions between self and other dissolve. Yet Dogen asks us to go further. He asks us to notice not only the surface, but also the depths. Every wave, ripple, and current of the ocean exists as the greater whole. So too, he says, we are inseparable from the entire cosmos. In the Ocean Seal Samadhi, Dogen offers us a vision of our interconnection, where the boundaries between self and the world, subject and object, dissolve into unity. There's no separation between the wave and the water, the observer and the observed. So in this fascicle, Dogen reflects on a passage from the Vimalakirti Sutra, and he says, only the real dharmas, which also gets translated as elements, only the real dharmas in this body composed The moment of appearance is just the appearance of dharmas. The moment of disappearance is just the disappearance of dharmas. At the moment when these dharmas appear, we do not speak of the appearance of self. When these dharmas disappear, we do not speak of the disappearance of self. An instant before, an instant after, instant does not depend on instant. A dharma before, a dharma after, dharma does not oppose dharma. So he says, this is called samadhi, a state just like the sea. Well, I doubt that Dogen is really talking about the personal body. However, I thought it was a great metaphor, so I want to do a little comparison there. So if you think about it, things are changing in our bodies all the time. Our breath is coming and going, tissues are changing, messages are constantly being communicated between all our systems. One's depending on the other, and the ever-changing environment in which we live. So things are being constructed in healthy ways and destructed, breaking down and healing. Thoughts and feelings arising and ceasing. When a thought or a breath comes up, we don't say, I am coming up. Or when it goes away, we don't say, I am going away. Because there's no one element that is I or you, right? There's no singular thing. We expect things to be changing in our bodies all the time. We all know that that happens. But we don't think that one thing is the beginning of us or the end of us. In fact, most of the time we forget these changes are happening all the time, and we think we're just one permanent person, one distinct person, one sort of person. So if I just asked you to describe everything that's happening in your body at this very moment, you would only be able to discuss a very small fraction of what's actually happening, because you probably wouldn't be describing the cellular level or the energy or the synapses. You probably wouldn't be doing that, but all these things are actually happening, all beyond our knowledge. So when Dogen speaks about the body, however, I think he might really be referring to the Dharmakaya, the body of truth, of reality, the ultimate, formless, unconditioned reality. So the ocean is likened to enlightenment. In stillness, our awareness, when undisturbed and undistorted, reflects the world without attachment or delusion. But stillness does not mean lifelessness. The ocean is also dynamic, constantly moving, just like our embodied experience of reality. There's a misconception that equates stillness with enlightenment and movement with delusion. But Dogen says that's not true. He says that stillness and motion, form and emptiness are constantly being interwoven. So our practice is about harmonizing with this ever-changing flow of life while maintaining some sense of clarity. Like floating with the water, and like our lives, things will arise and cease. Our thoughts, our problems, our joys, our situations. Some people really get stuck in storms. You might know them, I don't know. Or delight only in the calm ride. But if we engage fully in the whole experience of the ocean, we become emboldened, we become stronger, more resilient, and actually gentler. So the ocean includes everything. It does not reject a single wave. Every movement is part of its wholeness. In fact, it could be said that there's no such thing as a separate wave. There's just water in motion. The calm, shiny waters and the tsunamis are all manifestations of the same ocean. The ocean can support us, delight us, carry us, destroy us, all the same ocean. The ocean surface reflects the moon and the stars, but it does not hold on to them. Similarly, when we cultivate deep awareness, we experience thoughts, emotions, sensations, it's our training not to grasp them or push them away. This is a key principle of our Zen practice. Seeing things as they are, letting them rise and go naturally. Dogen tells us that those Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are always in this state of samadhi, this state like the sea. So swimming in this state, they have times of preaching, times of experiencing, and times of moving. The virtue of their moving over the surface of the sea also includes the movement at the very deepest part of the ocean. For these bodhisattvas, this samadhi may look still and silent, but just like the bottom of the ocean, this state of samadhi is teeming with life. There are so many interesting things about the ocean that I looked up when I was thinking about our understanding of the ocean. So, for example, we all might know that the ocean covers 70% of the Earth's surface, but did you know that only 5% of the ocean has even been explored? Most of the wildlife on the planet lives in the ocean, and the biggest mountain range is under the ocean's surface. Rivers and lakes abound underwater, and 90% of the volcanic activity lies under the sea. So, as many of you in this room know and study and work with every day, the ocean holds many resources like oil that we think about all the time and live with all the time. And aren't we so similar to this ocean? We actually are the ocean, interconnected and interdependent and ever-changing, full of rivers and lakes, mountains and quiet, dark places, light reflecting the moon and stars, all within, yet invisible to our undiscerning eye. We can flow like the ocean, sometimes still and sometimes full of arising and ceasing waves. All aspects of the ocean, all are part of this experience of us being human. And as Leonard Cohen said, if you don't become the ocean, you will be seasick every day. So how do we practice this samadhi? Dogen emphasized zazen, meditation, as the way to embody this realization. In zazen, we sit still like the vast ocean, allowing our thoughts and sensations to rise and fall without attachment. The ocean seal is the nature of zazen itself. When one sits in deep meditation, mind and body drop away, revealing the vast, boundless reality beyond duality. Over time, maybe we can experience reality as Dogen describes it, an undivided, luminous field of being. Dogen emphasizes that practice and realization aren't separate. True meditation is not really merely sitting, but fully embodying the awakened nature of existence. Not a static state of mind, but a dynamic, living experience. But as we know, this experience is not confined just to our cushion. We can use this sense of samadhi, this sense of flow in our walking, our eating, our speaking, even washing dishes can be expressions of the ocean seal samadhi when we do it with full awareness and non-attachment. And I have to say that this practice is not only confined to our personal lives. For example, in the world right now, what seems like tremendous storms, tumultuous waters, no matter how painful or unjust it all seems, we are just part of this rising and ceasing of the ocean. Both the storm and the calm will come. So I want to read you this poem I found. My favorite poet, one of my favorite poets, Mary Oliver, and she wrote a poem about the ocean. This is what she says. I am in love with the ocean, lifting her thousands of white hats in the chop of the storm, or lying smooth and blue, the loveliest bed in the world. In the personal life, there's always grief more than enough, a heart load for each one of us on the dusty road. I suppose there's a reason for this. So I will be patient, acquiescent, but I will live nowhere except here, by ocean, trusting equally in all the blast and welcome of her sorrowless salt self. So how do we use this beautiful teaching from Dogen? Well, for example, when we feel overwhelmed, we can remember that emotions and experiences, the things that happen to us in our lives, are waves, impermanent and part of the vast ocean of being. Maybe we can soften our responses. When we struggle with relationships, we can recall that there's no true separation. Self and others arise together in this interconnected existence. When we face uncertainty, we can trust in the natural rhythm of things, just as the ocean does not resist the waves. And we can remember with awe the magnificence of how it all works, sitting by the ocean and knowing that our lives are just this.